What broke? Something just broke. So I got the radiators installed and the fan. These are all original parts off the 2009 Crown Vic. And when I line up the brackets where they belong with the holes, basically the fan is touching the pulley, the water pump pulley. So what I'm doing is I'm shifting the whole assembly forward about 1.5 inches or so. You can see that's the original hole. That's how far I'm shifting it forward. And by doing that, I will have enough clearance for the water pump pulley. And I should be able to run this just like that. Had to remove the radiator assembly out again because this AC dryer here originally bolted up to these two holes right there. There was just threads in the frame, but once I put it in, it was basically touching the AC compressor clutch, so I had to shift it forward about, let's say, about 2 inches or so. That way it's not as close to this. Maybe there's a 1/2 inch or so now between the pulley and the AC dryer, which is not bad. So now I'm gonna reassemble everything. This time I'm not gonna connect any hoses because who knows, I might have to remove it again. And so I'll just leave everything disconnected until I'm ready to pour in coolant. So it's the next day here, and I've got some parts from the local dealer. They finally came in. I realized I didn't order everything I wanted to because I didn't make a list. I just went over there and just tried to order it from memory. But I did get the alternator bracket. Here's the part number for that. This is a single alternator bracket for the 7.3. That bolts up right there, just like, wait, what? Yeah, it goes just like that on the 3 bolts. What I didn't realize is, well, first thing, I forgot to order the bolts, so I'll have to see if we have some here that'll work. If not, I'll order some. Also, there's an extra pulley that goes here, and I was thinking that it could be the same pulley as this, but I believe it's a little bit different, so I'll have to order that separately. I still haven't checked to see if the old 4.6 alternator will bolt up to this bracket or not. That's why I didn't order the proper 7.3 alternator yet, but I got the bracket. Also, I got both belts. I'm hoping they're gonna work. I don't see why they wouldn't. Everything's in its place so far, so as long as I get the right alternator or the original one fits properly, then I should be okay on belts. I've got 2 hoses here for the coolant. Both of them connect to the oil cooler over here. This was just something I was trying out, but I actually did get both hoses, which one of them I'm not sure if it will work, because it splits off to the transmission cooler, which this transmission doesn't have. Well, it has a cooler, but it goes to the front, and it's part of the condenser. The lower part of the condenser is actually the transmission cooler. So I can maybe plug this off if I end up using this, but it's good to have just in case. And this is the other one that loops around and goes to the front of the engine on the driver's side. Also, just for fun, I got on eBay, of course, and got the eBay special switches. Always wanted one of these. I got the cheapest one, obviously, because I'm not even sure if I'm gonna need it or not, but it looks pretty cool. And it was like 20 bucks, and even if it doesn't get hooked up, it still looks cool. And also, I had this laying around for a couple of years already. You can see it's dusty, but it's a oil pressure gauge, which I just looked, and I don't think there's a place to tap this into on the engine, so I'd have to maybe drill a hole or something, which I don't know if I want to do or not. Actually, there are a few ports over here right by the oil filter. There's a few ports there, but there's a solenoid right up top for variable oil pressure, and then these 2 plugs. I may be able to tap into one of those for the pressure gauge, oil pressure gauge. I don't know if I'll need to do that or not. It probably would be a good idea to do it, but I might just skip that for now and worry about it later. The actual oil pressure sensor is back here under the intake, and it is a 3-pin connector, which is right here. And I unscrewed it earlier. And the original for the 4.6 oil pressure sensor is just a 1-wire 1-pin connector. This is just an adapter I was messing with earlier. So I was thinking maybe get an adapter and put it like a T fitting and put it right there and have both sensors in there, and that way I won't have a problem. I could just connect whichever one I go with and go from there. So I am missing this pulley here, the upper pulley that mounts to the alternator bracket, and I ordered the tensioner, but I got the wrong one. This is the one that came, and this is the one I need, and the one I need goes right here. The one that came is actually already on the engine. It's down here, and I'm good there on that side. So I'm just missing this tensioner. I'll have to bolt on the bracket and then see what the alternator looks like, whether I need to buy one or I can just use the one I have off the old 4.6. Everything else here, like power steering, is connected. I did mock up some hoses up here. I need to go see if I can buy something close to what I need. So one goes up here like that, and then the other one goes from right here to the bottom on the radiator over there. There's a hose, so I need to tap into that. I need to swing by a parts store and see if I can buy some hoses, or maybe I can just somehow make them, but they're kind of unique. I don't know if they'll have something close to it. If not, I'll figure something else out. I've got the oil cooler all plumbed up with original 7.3 F250 hoses and tubes. Besides this one here was actually a T for the oil cooler, like I said earlier. Well, for the transmission cooler, which this transmission has it up front, so I don't need it. So what I did was I looped it, routed it back to the radiator in the front. I think that should work. Everything else is shielded. I put a heat shield on this hose here because it's very close to the header, but that's just how it is on the pickup trucks. I feel like that's very, very close, but that's how they have it on the pickup trucks, so I'm guessing it's gonna be okay. And everything up here is connected and zip tied together. All the lines here are connected, so pretty much the coolant for the oil cooling system is complete. I'm just missing the big hoses to the radiator, from the engine to the radiator, both top and bottom. So right now I'm gonna drop the frame on its feet for the first time and see if I can roll it underneath the cab, and we'll see what the clearance is like. What broke? Something just broke. So just like I thought that this wiper arm system is going to be in the way, because this engine is taller and sits higher, and I'm not even down all the way, and I've already cracked the housing, so I'm gonna lift it back up and maybe take this housing apart and see if I can just remove the housing and get away with it. Hopefully I don't have to modify the arms or something like that. But I mean, everything else looks not bad, I guess. What is this? Oh, that's just evap, not important. That's just a temporary hose there. This bracket here, it's not in the way right now, but it might be later. I'll remove it. I'll worry about that. Right now the main concern is this wiper system here. So hopefully I can trim it up and get away with it. But I still have to go down about, let's say about 2.5 inches. Still needs to lower down. So the hood clearance is definitely not gonna work. So we'll be cutting that hood or removing it completely. Either way, that's fine. So besides the issue with the wiper arms being in the way right now, which is mostly the plastic housing, which I will trim up and it'll be fine. I'll trim it back just enough for the engine to clear. Everything else behind there, it's looks like it's gonna work. This bracket here I'm gonna remove later. I don't really need it anymore. That was for the evap. Back there where the transmission is, everything's looking good. It's gonna clear. Here these lines are kind of short, but that's because the vehicle still needs to roll, well, the frame needs to roll back still, and I can't do that because I'm hitting that wiper system housing. And the second issue is when I move the radiator assembly forward about inch to inch and a half, whatever it was, basically now the radiator support doesn't clear. Right now the body's lifted, so there's clearance, but I can't lower it because the condenser is actually hitting the upper radiator support. I'm not sure if I'm just gonna cut that section out completely or notch it, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna remove this later and see what I can do with that. But everything else looks like it's gonna work, and it's gonna clear. I'm not sure about the steering yet. Haven't got that far, but the hood is definitely not gonna clear. Right now it's still sitting up high, but what I can do is maybe I can just put like 3-inch spacers between the frame and the body and have a lifted Crown Vic, put some mud tires on it, and take it off road. But I'd like to set it back down where it needs to be, and so it looks normal, somewhat normal. But that's gonna be it in this video. So if you like what you're seeing, hit like. If you don't, either way, until next time, later.